All right, welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to another video. Today, this one's gonna be a little bit of a chill stream. I'm gonna give you the steps on how to buy and get the best deal on a used Tesla. I know Alexis is gonna pop in pretty soon, but because I'm in the market, right? I'm in the market to buy a Tesla. I want another one. I've had 3 Teslas so far: a Model 3, a Model Y, and a Model S. Absolutely love the Model S. I really like the Model Y, and the Model 3 I probably wouldn't get again unless, I don't know, this tax credit thing is pretty interesting because I'd love to save some taxes as well. So I'm going to give you the steps exactly on what I would do. You can tell I'm sitting down because this might be a long video because I'm going to give you the steps first, and then we're going to go shopping. We're going to go out there and see what's out there. I'm going to start lowballing a bunch as well because that's the strategy. That's I'm going to show you exactly what I do and what you should do as well if you want to get the best deal on a Tesla at the best possible price. So before we get into that, let's roll that intro real quick. All right, so thanks for watching another stream. Thanks for watching another video. My name is Dennis, and I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on a Tesla at the best possible price, or just getting really good financing on your Tesla. So if you're interested in any of that, please hit that subscribe. All right, so the first thing, what I do. So of course you got to figure out what do you want, right? So I guess I kind of, I've had the Model 3, loved it, had the Model Y, loved it. The one gripe I had with Model 3 and Model Y, suspension was a little rough. So that's when I got the Model S. Was very fortunate to get an early order in right before all the craziness. And so I drove it for 6,000 miles, owned it for 6 months. It had air suspension, which was fantastic. And now there's really only one Tesla that is left, and that would also I would collect all the Pokemon cards then. If I get this last Tesla, which is the Model X, and if I use a really good financing partner like Labor Credit Union that have helped me a lot, and I did lock in my rates through Labor before they raised it, so I locked in, I applied, because I was talking to them. They said, if you apply before this date, I think it was like December 26th or something like that, the rate will be locked in at their like 3.6% or something like that, which is absolutely insane. So thankfully I locked in. I'm locked in for 60 days. So if you locked in, congratulations to you. But if you haven't, there's a handful of other credit unions out there. My Patreon members get a list of those credit unions if they need it. But the rates are still good, like 3 to 3.5%. So don't worry as much. But first we got to find the car, right? So I could search Model 3 or Model Y, and if someone wants to throw it out there, I could, I'll be happy to help you guys search as well. But let's do Model X. So my strategy first is I want a refresh Model X. So that's going to be late 2021, but mostly 2022. And so I go to all the sites. So I'll quickly ramble them off. I go to cars.com, CarGurus, Auto Trader, Facebook Marketplace, even Craigslist. And the last one that maybe a lot of people aren't necessarily aware about, it's pretty good, is Tesla for sale groups. So if you go to the group section of your Facebook, just type in like Tesla for sale or Tesla sales. Here's a good one right here, Tesla for sale. It's good because my strategy, I'm always going after or working or trying to get a deal with private sellers. And the reason why I try and not only go after private sellers is because a private seller, when they're selling the vehicle, only has 2 options to sell their car. They can either sell to you, a private buyer, or they can sell to a wholesaler like CarMax, Carvana, maybe they're going out of business, or even local wholesaler dealers around them. So, and wholesalers are not going to give them the highest value, right? They're just going to give wholesale number. And so you kind of have to, the strategy is to basically come in right above wholesale, because you can't expect them to take your wholesale offer because they can just go sell it to a local dealer or even Car Buyer USA. So you want to come in maybe 2, 3, maybe even more if that's exactly the car that you're looking for. So I'll go into a little bit more. So, I'll just throw in a number here. Let's say we're looking at 2021 Model Ys, Tesla Model Y let's say all-wheel drive, right? And then we want a long range, and it's got what, 2 years old at this point. It's got 18,000 miles. So the wholesale value, the person that's selling the car, they could sell it to Car Buyer USA and get 46,000. So if if that person had the exact car out there, I would see that in the wholesale number, and I would offer them, $2,000-3,000 more. So 49, maybe 50. If it's got full self-driving, you can value that at a higher number. Maybe full self-driving by itself is valued anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 on the street value, I would say. So then I would maybe offer them 53, 54, but you want to start at a number like that. And at the end of the day, it's just a numbers game at that point. So what I do is I go to sites I go to basically all these sites. I search based on my area, and then I go all the way down to here, and I do not interact with any dealers at all, because dealers are kind of, stuck. Like, the people responding to these inquiries are salespeople. They don't have any control of the price at all. So really, there's nothing you can do. If you really find a car that, absolutely love, you could try going to that dealership and negotiating with them in person. But, negotiating over the internet with a dealer, is kind of a lost at that point. So I filter down to private seller. And then, of course, I'm looking for a 2022 at this point. And then I sort low to high. And then once I've got low to high sorted, I just slowly send a message to each and every one of these people with kind of like my baseline number, or like a number around that. And the key thing here is, there's a lot of people selling for a variety of reasons. What I've noticed, at least with the Model X market, a lot of these people that own these cars don't need to sell. They kind of just have it just because of whatever reason. But, I did find a couple people, like a very minority owners, that they need to sell. They have to sell for whatever reason. That maybe it's just sitting there or whatever. So they want to get it off of their books or off of their driveway or whatever. And it's the same thing with Model Y owners, Model 3 owners, probably maybe a majority, a different percentage of those owners want to sell. And so that's where it could make a difference. So it's just a numbers game at this point. Just start lowballing. Unfortunately, it's lowballing, and you're going to get a lot of flack back, or, fire emojis back, or something like that. But you basically have to, keep going at it, keep filling out inquiries and finding as many vehicles as possible. And that's kind of why I like Facebook groups, because these are real owners, real people in real cars. So that's why I like interacting with them, talking to them, of course, coming out with a low number. And then, if they're going to push back, but that's where, it's not instant gratification. Like, you're going to give them an offer, it's going to be low. And then that's where you follow up with them in a week or 2 weeks and just say, hey, how's it going? How have you received any other higher offers? How's it going with sales? And that's where you try and, start the dialogue with them. And you'll find that there's a lot of people out there that, want high numbers for the vehicles for whatever reason. They think it's, worth so much. But unfortunately, the market is correcting. And this is your baseline number. If you find a vehicle and you put the number into Car Buyer USA, that's your baseline number right there. Of course, don't go any lower than that, because I feel like that would be insulting. But that's where you want to start, add a couple thousand on top of that, and then just keep going at it and at it and at it. So let's take a look at some of these Model X's right here. So that's basically my strategy so far. Like, that's how I get used deals on cars. Like, of course, don't be rude. Like, an offer is still an offer. Some people get antsy and upset, but sometimes I don't understand why. Like, they could just counter offer and then play a date. Because if you're a serious buyer and they're a serious seller, then they should kind of understand that and give some sort of counter offer at the end of the day. Because you never know. Like, if it's the right car, like, I would certainly pay for the right color, the right interior color, or even if it has full self-driving, I'll give a little bit extra, I'll value it a little bit more, so I can come up on my offer for sure. So I think, so going back to this, I really want a Model X. I haven't had the Model X yet. It's the last one on the list. I've kind of hinted at it for a while. So let's see if there's any, deals out here. Of course, there's still, people want a lot of money for these things. Like, still to this day, like, the cheapest one in the country via cars.com is $106,000. And these are, of course, private sellers. If we switch it to dealers, it can get a little lower, but cars.com has really been pretty good. And then also Also, CarGurus has been pretty fruitful, I would say, in terms of like leads and finding vehicles that are actually out there. So let's see, 2022. I always look nationwide because I try like I'll travel for a car. I won't go like too far or too crazy, but I will travel for a car when it's not like too far. Like as long as it's like, under 800 miles, I'll definitely make a trip. So of course, go down all the way down to the bottom left here, sort of by private sellers, and then sort it, of course, low to high. And then it's a numbers game. So Alexis, if you're in the chat right here listening and watching, because I know you're interested in a used car, it's literally just filling out your information as much as possible to a lot of people out there and getting their contact information, and then just following up in a week. So ask them, how's it going? Have they received any offers? Because a lot of people, like they'll think that they got like a higher offer or something, but something will happen and it will fall right through, because at the end of the day, financing rates are still high, and a lot of people don't watch this channel. They don't know they can get 3% financing on a used or new car. So it's for sure it can get a little crazy out there. Auto Trader, good site, but I haven't really had too much luck. I've been sending a lot of inquiries at least, and I haven't really getting a lot of feedback or responses back. Facebook Marketplace has been really good, because it's real people selling cars. They get the notification on their phone, so they're inclined to respond back at the end of the day. So those are my tips and trips. Like here's another one right here, 2022 Model X. With 300 miles on it. It's a 6-seater, so you could value that a little bit higher. Only 180 miles, so certainly definitely a flipper for sure, or at least trying to flip. And let's put this thing in here, because I can imagine this is going to get ugly for sure. 2022 Model X, because that person, if they bought it recently, and even if they had an older price, they're still in that car like a good amount of money. So okay, 95,000. So I mean, you could go up 98, 100, and still way lower than 125. But don't be scared. Like it's literally like I certainly understand. A lowball offer might be, scary to send to them, but just it's a quick message. Like, and at the end of the day, they might say no, they might laugh at you, but you just move on, and then you move on, or you say, I really like your car. This is the price I'm at. Also, like, I had a person that scheduled a call with me pretty recently. Down below in the description, if you're interested in scheduling a call with my Patreon link, he accidentally offered too much. He offered 58 for a Model Y, and the price was 60 when he really wanted to offer 56. And I told him, like, hey, it's really easy to back out of that. Just tell them that you went to go get financing, you went to go apply for financing, and your finance company told you that they can only give you 56,000. And that's a really easy, quick way to back down on your offer. And maybe that could be very, maybe it's not 100% the truth, but it could easily be the case because of how financing companies are kind of restricting a little bit, or like you underestimated taxes, and taxes are going to be too much. And so there's always ways to kind of backtrack a little bit on your offer to get a better price for sure. So definitely some pretty interesting stuff. I'm going to jump in some of the comments. I see that a lot of you are asking questions. Hopefully this video was helpful. There's easy ways to get financing as well. Definitely check out the Patreon down below if you want to support the channel, as well as Tenet, also an easy way to finance or defer portions of the loan all the way to the end to have a lower monthly payment on financing your EV or Tesla specifically. Down below in the